Welcome to my channel. Today, we're diving into a topic that sounds complicated but is absolutely crucial: the digital sovereignty revolution. Basically, it's a massive power struggle over your data, and trust me, it affects everything from your personal privacy to the future of entire countries. So let's get into it.
So, let me start by asking you a question. Let's say your company stores all its data on servers located in, say, Germany, to follow all the local rules. That data is European, right? Simple. Well, not so fast. It's not necessarily that simple. And that paradox, that single question, is at the very heart of one of the biggest challenges in tech today.
To really get why that is, we first have to pull back the curtain and see who actually controls the cloud. Because, the cloud isn't some fluffy, abstract thing in the sky. It's very real, it's warehouses full of computer servers, and they're owned and operated by a handful of really big companies.
And when I say a handful, I mean it. Just look at this chart. It shows that by 2025, American tech giants are on track to control over 70% of Europe's entire cloud market. Now, that isn't just a business statistic. That is a massive strategic dependency, and it comes with some serious legal strings attached for the whole EU.
And this right here is where things get really spicy. It's like a legal heavyweight match. In one corner, you've got the EU's GDPR, which is all about giving people like you and me strict control over our personal data. But in the other corner, you have the US CLOLD Act. This law lets American authorities demand data from US-based tech companies, and here's the kicker: it doesn't matter where in the world that data is actually stored. It's a direct clash of laws, with your data stuck right in the middle of a legal tug-of-war.
So it's pretty clear that just knowing the physical address of a server doesn't tell you the whole story. To really understand digital sovereignty, you've got to think of it in three different layers. 3 layers of control. Okay, so layer 1 is data residency. This is the easy one. It's basically just the physical address of your data. Where does it live? Putting your data in a European data center checks this box. It's a super important first step for things like GDPR, but, and this is a big but, it's only the first step. Next up, we have data sovereignty. This goes a lot deeper. This isn't just about the address of the data, it's about which country's laws apply at that address. Real sovereignty here means everything. The data, the backups, even the little bits of metadata is all governed exclusively by EU law.
And that brings us to the most critical layer of all, the real decider: jurisdictional control. You could call this the ultimate test. It answers the question, who has the final legal power to walk in and demand access to that data? Because here's the thing, even if your data lives happily in Frankfurt, if the company running that data center is American, it could still fall under the US CLOLD Act.
So let's just put that all together real quick. Residency is about geography, the where. Sovereignty is about the legal framework, the rules. But jurisdictional control? That's about pure power, the who. And if you don't have control over all 3, you can't really say you have digital independence.
Now, you might be wondering why this has become such a huge deal all of a sudden. Well, this isn't some theoretical debate for lawyers anymore. We've hit a tipping point. A perfect storm of new regulations is forcing every business to deal with digital sovereignty, like right now. What we've got is this powerful trio of new rules that are completely changing the game. First, there's the NIS2 directive, which basically demands that you know exactly who is touching your data across your entire digital supply chain. Then you've got DORA, which forces banks to prove they can survive a massive outage from their cloud provider. And the big one, the EU AI Act, says that the most important AI systems have to be run completely under EU control. The rules have just fundamentally changed.
And the stakes here are just getting higher and higher. Why? Because the amount of data we're all creating is just exploding. Projections show we're going to hit 175 zettabytes of data globally. I mean, that's 175 trillion gigabytes. It's a number so big it's hard to even imagine. Protecting and controlling that much data is way more than a compliance headache. It's an economic and strategic necessity.
So, how is the world responding to this huge shift? Well, the market is starting to offer solutions, and we're seeing 2 very different models pop up. It's kind of a tale of 2 clouds, 2 different paths that companies can now take to get sovereign.
So, path number 1 is what you could call full EU isolation. This is offered by European cloud companies. The promise is pretty simple: maximum legal protection because the whole operation is 100% EU owned and run. Then you have path number 2, the Guardrail Model. This is where the giant US tech companies, the hyperscalers, are basically building a separate walled-off version of their cloud just for Europe, run by Europeans to meet these new demands. And this quote from a leader at AWS, an American company, says it all. They know what's up.
Even the giants like AWS and Microsoft are launching these special European sovereign clouds. We're talking about clouds run by EU staff, governed by EU law, and totally separate from their other global data centers. It's a direct answer to customers screaming for more control.
Look, this whole movement is about so much more than just where you store your files. It's about building the entire foundation for Europe's digital future. Everything from how industries share data to how we build the next generation of artificial intelligence.
And a huge project leading the way here is called Gaia X. Now, it's not another company trying to build a cloud. Think of it more like a common rulebook or maybe a universal adapter for the cloud. It's a set of open standards designed to connect all these different cloud services into one big trusted network. The goal is to stop companies from being trapped with just one provider, to break that vendor lock-in, and let them share data safely and securely.
And that brings us to what might be the final frontier in all of this: sovereign AI. As AI gets built into everything, from healthcare making life or death recommendations to finance managing our money, it becomes absolutely essential that these systems are trustworthy. The EU AI Act will make sure that the most critical AI systems, from the data they learn on to the models themselves, are run on infrastructure that is completely governed by EU law.
So we're left with this one last really big question. In a world that's being completely reshaped by data and AI, controlling your own digital destiny, well, that's not just a tech goal anymore. It's really a measure of economic strength and geopolitical power. So you have to ask, is digital independence the ultimate prize? That's a question that is going to define the next decade for all of us. And on that thought, we are coming to the end of our explainer. If you found this useful, you know what to do. Like and subscribe for more. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.